So, dear students, today we are going to study the most important topic for PUC second year English, that is letter writing. Letter writing plays an important role in our day-to-day life as well, but for the exam purpose, we have to concentrate on it because it carries 5 marks, and you are sure to get 5 marks, and you need not be reminded that 5 marks matter much. Letter writing, so to say, can be divided into 2 parts. One is formal, another one is informal. Formal letter writing is also called as official or business, and informal letter writing is known as that kind of writing which does not require any kind of embellishment, any kind of formality. Here the language can be informal also. And such letters are written to your friends. Such letters are written to your relatives. But in formal letters, we have to take care of the form of the letter. So what's here? Look at the word form. Now when we say form, F-O-R-M, what does it mean? It means structure. Formal. Structure. In formal letters, what's most important is form. We have to adhere to, we have to stick to, we have to follow this form. If you don't follow form, we are not likely to get more marks. Sometimes no marks at all. So in formal letters, we have to follow this form. How to begin a letter, how to end the letter, where to start, where to end, what to include. Even the language of the formal letter is very formal. Whereas in informal letters, there are no restrictions. You can use the language the way you want. It can be imaginative, it can be informal, any kind of language you can use. But here, the matter should be clear, kind of formal language. So, letter writing can be divided into 2 categories. One is formal and one is informal. So, for our examination, we are going to study only formal letters. And under formal letters, for us is prescribed the job application. Job application. Job application. Suppose you like to apply for certain post. In the examination, you are given an advertisement. That advertisement reads that certain so-and-so company requires or would like to hire a fellow acquiring so-and-so skills, possessing a particular qualification. That person is required to have a few years of experience. All the particulars will be given there. So before you start writing letter in the examination, it's advisable that you write the letter only after making a thorough reading of the question. You have to read in detail the given question. So in that question, what they expect will be mentioned. The question will be, write an application for the post of so-and-so post, and you can make use of the following advertisement. If you look at the previous question papers, there you will come to know in a box, in a rectangle, they give an advertisement. Job application has got certain structure, it has got certain form. Let us look at that. Every letter should begin with the sender's address. For our convenience sake, we call it from address. From address consists of the information about the fellow who is writing that letter. Now, normally, what we can do, we can write our name. In some letters, writing name is avoided because anyway we mention it at the bottom. But for examination sake, we have to mention it. I will make a point about this also very soon. Your name and then your address. Address usually consists of the name of your house. For example, Anand Nilaya. Then name of your colony, Adarsh colony. Name of the city, Kalaburgi. Pin code, 5510310 whatever it is. And then finally, the date on which you are writing that letter. Now, if you write all these details, now remember, if you write all these details in the examination, it will be a mistake. It will be a mistake. It might cost 2 marks also, and perhaps you will be punished for this. Punished in the sense what? Because you will be revealing your personal details in the examination. In the question answer sheet. That you should not do. Nowhere you should disclose your identity. If you write all these details, then it might be understood that as if you are trying to communicate to the examiner that I am so and so fellow. Your personal identity should be hidden so that valuation takes place impartially. And so please don't mention your name anywhere, not even in the letter, but nowhere in the answer sheet. Your address, name of your city, all these things are not necessary. Then what should this from address consist of? It consists, for our convenience sake, it is said that we have to start with what we can say the inside address like this. The from address. Three times X. It can be X or we can call it cross mark. Because we don't have to reveal, open up, tell about our name to others. So this is for your name. 3 times X you have to write. Three times X. This is for your name. And then we have to write 3 times Y. What is this Y? This stands for your address. Your name, your address. Isn't it easy? And there is no chance that you will make any mistake here. Mind that you have to write 3 times X for your name and 3 times Y for your address. Now this is your, what we can say, from address. Or this is what we can say, sender's address. Sender's address. And now, remember that you have to leave a line. You have to leave a space between every new item of the letter. Now, what are these parts of the letter here? First is sender's address. Then comes the date line. Then comes the to address or inside address. Then the salutation. Then comes subject line, reference, body of the letter, that is divided into parts, different paragraphs. Para 1, para 2, para 3. And then leave taking. And finally complimentary close. Yours faithfully, and then signature, enclosure. These are the parts into which we divide a job application. So if we just cram all these things together, it will be just like a copywritten paper. We don't want to do copywriting. So when you see the specimen, example of a letter printed in the, say, workbook or in your guide, how does it look? Every part is distanced from another part. There is a gap between every part. So that that effect we must create on our answer sheet. That we can do. How? By leaving one line of your answer sheet. One line space is compulsorily to be left between these parts. Now, first we are dealing with this from address, where we are writing x, we are writing y. 3 times x, 3 times y. Now leave one line. For that, I will write here on arrow mark. This is for space. Then here you are going to write date. But remember, you are not going to write the word DATE, then give colon, and then write the date. Say, for example, 9th June 2020 or 18th June 2020. Simply, you have to write the date. Don't write like this, date. This part is undesirable, unnecessary. The number that you are writing here, the number that you write here is supposed to be, what is it? The date only. So here you have to write date. This is the date line. Between the from address and between the date line, you have to leave one line. And preferably, you have to write the date like this. No need to write the word date. And you are writing here 10th June 2020. Date can be written in various ways. So you can begin like this. June 10, 2020. It's quite possible. There are various ways. You can write like this also. What's it? 10, 6, 20. Or some people write 10, 6, 20. But you know, these are not recommended. We should not write such kind of dates in the formal letters. Here we have to be very precise, very particular. So most preferably, we can go with this. We can go with this type of writing. What is it? 10th June 2020. And in our examination, the date is 18th. So you can write 18th June 2020. Or should you place comma here? Okay, if you place, it's alright. If you don't, it's again alright, because there are two ways of punctuation. One is open punctuation, another is closed punctuation. In the closed punctuation, you have to follow all the rules of punctuation. You have to go on giving comma here. It's all there. But nowadays we are not following that. We follow open punctuation and left alignment. Some students tend to write from address to the right hand side. And for to address, they will come to the left. Body of the letter. Again, for close yours faithfully, they will come to the right side. That is the old way. Old way of writing. Let space button and go up to this side. So everything is aligned. From address, date, to address, subject, reference, and all those things, all of them come to the left side. And that's why I say, leave a space between every part of the letter. Everything is on the left side, right? And you are cramming everything together, so we'll not be able to separate them. We'll not be able to read easily what is what. So it is better to leave the space between. It is very much better to leave the space between the two parts of the letter. So now, 3 times X indicates your name, 3 times Y indicates the name of your place, your address. Then this arrow mark indicates the space, date, and as I told you, you have to write date like this. 10th June 2020 or 2020. Only this format you have to follow. No other format. You can write, of course, like this: June 20, again 2020, or June 18, anything. But why? Let us concentrate upon one type of writing the date. In workbooks, in guides, here and there, they give like this 10, 6, 2020. It depends upon the examiner. If the examiner is liberal, he can award marks for this also. But if he is very particular, following the rules of the letter writing, you are supposed to write the date only this way. That's enough for the pattern of writing dates. After that, again leave the space here. Space. Now comes the to address. The most important point here, what is it? Everyone is almost used to place a comma after TO2. It has become a habit with everyone. Everyone almost. No sooner we write to, then we write a comma. Unknowingly. But this comma should be strictly avoided. You should not write a comma here. You can do away with this to also. There is no need to write to. You can directly write the inside address. But let us write to. We are used to writing to. Let us write to. But don't make the mistake of writing a comma after TO2. If you write a comma after TO2, it is a mistake. All caps. M-I-S-T-A-K-E. Mistake means mistake. Don't write a comma here. Whoever tells you, please don't write a comma after TO2. Next line you can write. This is called inside address or to address. To address or inside address. For example, to the manager, so and so company, Kalaburgi. Or if it is an application for the post of a teacher, let us, for example, say to the principal, SBR, PUC, Kalaburgi, or SBR Public School, Kalaburgi. Kalaburgi is the last line. You can include the pin code also if you want. Okay, no problem with that. So this is the inside address. After this, we have to write salutation. Next comes salutation. So it comes like this. Dear sir. This is also debatable. Many people, many writers of the letter, in the place of dear, they write respected. This is redundant, unnecessary, because respect is already implied in the word sir. We need not once again write respected. What does it mean then? Respected fellow, person. No need to write the word once again. Because in some languages, in order to intensify the quality of the adjective, they repeat the adjective. For example, a ripe mango is called as paka am in Bengali. And if you want to say that it is very much ripe, they say paka am. So it would be like that. Just a joke. But here, we need not write respected sir. Like the habit of giving comma after two. This habit is also with many people that they write respected sir, but this is totally out of place. We should not. What should we write then? Dear sir. Can we address a person of by a person of great position by the word dear? For us Indians, it has got a limited meaning, dear, very close to the heart. Not necessarily, it should mean very close to the heart. It's not that only lovers or the close friends can write dear. Dear can be addressed to. I mean, we can use this word dear for addressing any fellow. It may not be there in any book, but to me it means it's equivalent of Sriman. Not the dictionary meaning, but simply we can use dear here. So we should write dear sir. And in some cases, still you feel, sir, I would like to give more respect to the fellow. In that case, there is another provision. You can write honorable. You can replace this respected by honorable. And this honorable is abbreviated. How is it abbreviated? In two ways. One is HONBLE. Honorable. Another one is HON. That is also enough. So honorable HON apostrophe BLE and HON dot, both are acceptable, but let us go with the first one, honorable. So you can write, how can you write then? HONBLE, honorable. So, honorable. Then if you feel, sir, I'm in confusion. You say you write dear sir, not respected sir. I have been taught to write respected for the all 11 years. What should I do? If you have faith in me, you can write comfortably dear sir. This can be corroborated by certain rules you can find in some books. Or if you are in confusion about all this, simply if you write sir, that is also enough. So in salutations, better write yes I are sir, or dear sir, or honorable sir, but not at all respected sir. This you must mind it. Dear sir, this is you can place a comma if you want, but not necessary. Then the body of the letter. Body of the letter can be divided into 1, 2, 3 paras. Right. Then finally, here is also debate. Thanking you. Is it correct? In many letters, you will find thanking you. But I'm sorry, this isn't correct. And here, you cannot write thanking you. This ing is out of place. You have to write thank you and give a full stop. Not even comma is wrong. Thank you, full stop. And then leave the space. And finally write here, yours faithfully, yours faithfully. This Y should be capital. Don't write Y like this. This may be capital for you, personal capital. And this may not be the capital for everyone. Don't even write a capital like this. Take care to write a funnel like Y. Just write V and draw the line. Y. So we cannot write like this. Doesn't matter. Start like this. F capital. At least F you can write. Faithfully yours. This is also acceptable. Either you can write yours faithfully or faithfully yours. Both are acceptable. And then one more thing is there. One more thing. Yours. Y-O-U-R-S. You must be wondering and waiting for me to comment upon this S. S. What's here? Sir, should we place an apostrophe here? It looks nice. Y-O-U-R-S. Is it correct to write an apostrophe? Yes. No need. Yours is a complete word. You should not write an apostrophe. If you write an apostrophe, it will be a mistake. You will have to lose half or even 1 mark. So please don't write apostrophe. So what should you write? Yours faithfully. Y capital. Like this. Write V. Y-O-U-R-S. Yours. No apostrophe. You should not write apostrophe here. Yours. F-A-R-T-H-F-U-L-L-Y. If you are following closed punctuation style, you can write a comma here. But I advise, don't use commas and full stops and all those things. If you start using, you will write commas here somewhere and you will forget to write commas somewhere else. If you give commas, you have to go on keeping commas at all the appropriate places. If you just forget then to place a comma at a particular place, then it will cost you a mark also. So better not to do the comma. After that, shall I write my name, sir? Because we sign with our name, and most of us are in love with our name. So we know the art of signing very beautifully. Forgive me. This is not the place you are supposed to give your autograph. So what you have to do is, here simply mention 3 times X. What is this? Your name. Yes, X, 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 your name. Enough. So after this, that you have to, one part still remains, and that is, give me just half a minute. Enclosure. E-N-C-L. Enclosure. What are the documents that you are attaching with this letter? It can be, you can write the photocopies of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, this can be resume, or it can be the marks memo of BA, experience certificate, like this. Whatever you mention in the body of the letter, your experience, your skills, and all those things, you have to give the proof in the form of documents. That list you can make here. And this part of enclosure can come at the end, as well as in some cases it is written after subject and reference. That is, after dear sir, here, dear sir, you write subject, and then you write reference. Subject and reference, and here some people write enclosures. Yes. This part can come after dear sir, subject, reference, enclosure. The documents are mentioned here also, and very conveniently you can mention it at the end. So let me now take you to the format of the formal job application letter. First, you have to write from address, but take care that you are not going to write the word from like to. Not necessary to write the word from. From address without the word from. So it starts with you can write it here 3 times x, y. What is this? This is your from address. This is space. Then you have to write date here. I have told you need not mention the word date, date. Directly mention the date. After that, again space. Then you write the true address. To, for example, the principal, Shonama Special Residential, PU College, Kalapurgi. Then salutation. Dear sir, your space again. Then again space. Then you write your subject. Then reference. No need to leave the space. No need to leave the space between subject and reference. What is to be written in the place of subject and reference? I'll tell you shortly. Space. And here comes the body of the letter. What is it? Body of the letter. Into 3 paragraphs. Then you write what we can say, thank you. Remember that you are not supposed to write thanking you. You must write thank you. Then again space. Then you have to write yours faithfully 3 times x. That's the name, and then enclosures ENCL 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Here we come to the end of the letter writing. From address. You should not write here from. Not necessary. Don't write from. So this is not required. You should not write the word from. So without writing the from word, we are writing here from address. Sender's address, it is also called sender's address. XXX, you should not write your name here. Y, the name of your place, don't write Kalapurgi or any other place. Then date, leave the space. To address, then dear sir, then subject. What can be the subject here? You can write an application for the post of a teacher. Or you can write an application for the post of a lecturer, for the post of a manager. Only this part will change. An application for the post of a teacher. Reference. We have to give reference of the paper, newspaper, in which this advertisement was published. Very simple here. What can you write here? Reference your advertisement in, for example, The Hindu, dated. Now suppose you are writing the letter on 18th, say the date of the examination. You can go back a little bit, say 15th June 2020. That can be the reference. Very easy to write. Your advertisement in The Hindu, dated 15th June 2020. Very simple it is. So this is what is the format. And then leave the space in body of the letter. How to start? We shall take one example very quickly. And on the body of the letter, when 3 paragraphs are over, then you can write thank you. Leave the space of one line. Write yours faithfully. Then 3 times X, which is nothing but your name. And then enclosures, the copies that you are going to attach with this letter. Right. This is what is the format of the formal job application. If you deviate from, if you go away from this format, I'm sorry, you will lose a mark here and there. So here, it's not a wise man's job to lose the marks. Because everything we are studying in advance, only job application has to be studied. If you study one format properly, then there should not be any problem writing any job application. Only a few things here and there change. In the advertisement, they give the inside address. From address, nothing. We need not be very innovative and creative here. In from address, 3 times X, 3 times Y. Then date we have to write. We have to take care to write the things the way I have told you. I have not invented these things. These are the things which are prescribed by the books, by the learned ones. Very few mistakes can be found in this format. Let us take one example, a brief letter. Our inside address 3 times X. Let us say write an application for the post of a teacher to the principal of a high school. Let us take our high school. So 3 times X is your name. 3 times Y is the name of your place. Leave the space. This time I am not going to draw the arrow mark. Arrow marks were there simply to tell you that you have to leave the space here. Directly leaving the space. Write date. Today's date we shall write. What's it? 10th June 2020. If you want, we can give a summary. Leave the space. Then write to, for example, the principal. Yes, we are public school. And the name of the place, Kalaburgi. Don't worry about this name Kalaburgi. Should we write Kalaburgi there, sir? You might say. This part will be given in the question. In the advertisement, that will be given under the question paper. Okay, Kalaburgi. Leave the space and write here Dear sir, and remember, you are not going to write respected sir. You are not going to write respected sir. Either write dear sir or simply SIR, S capital and sir, dear sir. Now, a fixed beginning. There are two, three ways to begin the letter. In the modern letter, we can directly begin. But as we are writing for the exam purpose, we have to use the stereotypical sentence. What is that? With reference to the subject mentioned above. Right. Let us begin with that. Or in accordance with the subject cited above. One of them we can choose. We can say with reference to the subject mentioned above, I would like to apply for the post of. I have started like this because in many cases, even in our workbook, it is mentioned that we can skip the subject line as well as the reference line. That is also possible. But if you are scared what the examiner might think, okay, we can include that also. See like this. Dear sir, write subject. What is it? An application for the post of a teacher. Reference your advertisement in Kannada Prabha, any name you can use, dated 8th June 2020. As far as possible, try to complete in one line. If not, come to the next line and begin here, but not here. This is from address, date, inside address or true address, salutation, space. No need to use space with the subject and reference. Now leave the space and start the body of the letter. Let me clean this and we can start with the body of the letter. That can be like this, with reference to the subject mentioned above, I would like to apply for the post of a teacher in your reputed school. This is the beginning, introductory para, we can say, first para. See that we are not starting here. We are close to the left margin. This is the block style. This is the block style of paragraphs where we need not leave some space while beginning a new paragraph. That is called indent style, indent style of paragraphs. But we are not using those paragraphs. One paragraph over, we can leave some space, and the second para, we can enlist our qualification. What is required? What is the required qualification for a teacher? He should be BA, BSc, BCom, a graduate, and then some training, B.Ed. So these things we have to compulsorily mention, and the needed experience. Experience is sometimes called as an added advantage. Sometimes your freshers are also welcome. If they state explicitly in the advertisement that some 6 years, 2 years experience is required, you must mention it. Otherwise, it is left to you. You can include experience or you can do away with this. So here you can write, I am an arts graduate. I completed my BA from Gulbarga University. You can mention the year. That is 2015, 2016, something like that. I scored 85% of marks. I have passed. I passed my B.Ed from Mysore University, or any university you can mention, scoring 89% marks. Keep the sentences very short so that you make a minimum mistakes. You have to state your qualification. You have to state here your qualification. This can be written in the high-flown language also, that we can do at some other point. Now, if required, if necessary, you can mention some experience. I have got a teaching experience of 2 years, or I have got a 2-year teaching experience, you can mention like that. Now this is the second paragraph where you are mentioning your qualification. Then leave the space here. Space is compulsory between the paragraphs. So let me shift this paragraph here above. One sentence here you have to write where you are telling the reader of your prospective reader of your letter that you are enclosing your documents along with this letter. I have enclosed the photocopies or Xerox copies of the essential documents for your kind perusal. This perusal means careful reading. This is again stereotypical sentence. There are many stereotypical sentences which you can find in many books or even on the internet also. But you should not make any mistake while writing that. I have enclosed the photocopies of the essential documents for your kind perusal. That is, if you want to go through, you can read it. Last pair. We will mention it in a very simple way. We can even say, should you select me, I will work with what we can say, work with honesty, sincerity, industry, punctuality. Simply we can put it like this: if you select me, I will try to work very hard and up to your satisfaction. Space here. If you select me, I will work hard. Here you can say, should you select me, I will work with honesty, industry, and punctuality. Honesty, industry means hard work. Punctuality. I promise to work. I pledge to work. Such kind of five-fluent language you can use if you want. If you select me, I will work hard for the success of students and the school. Now leave the space here. Don't write the arrow marks. Don't write these arrow marks in the final answer. I'm drawing these arrow marks to indicate that you have to draw, you have to leave the space here. Thank you. Don't write thanking you. And then again space here. Y capital. Yours faithfully. And 3 times XX. X. Leave the space and write enclosures. E and C. 1. Resume. Resume is, in the day-to-day language, we call it biodata. That is not a good word to use. Biodata concerns with your biological aspects, how much tall you are you fair or dark, all those things. So for professional purpose, we use the word resume, which includes your personal information about your qualification, your schooling, all those things, and how much experience you have. Resume. Then a photocopy of BA. Then third one you can mention a photocopy of BEd, and again a photocopy of the experience certificate. All those things, the qualifications and other skills that you have mentioned in the body of the letter need to be produced in the form of documents. And that you have attached here, you have to mention. So this is how a formal letter has to be written. You should not deviate from this pattern. If you want to score marks, you have to stick to this kind of pattern only. Thank you so much. We shall study about letters and some other things in the next class.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರು ವಸ್ತು ಬಂದಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಮೊಬೈಲ್